I wanted to share a bit about how this book, Becoming an Existential Humanistic Therapist, Narratives from the Journey, came together. This is a book that Julia Falk and I edited that came out last year. But the story of the book really goes back well over 10 years. For a number of years, as I had conversations with different existential humanistic therapists, including a number that were featured in this book, such as Kirk Schneider, Ed Mendowitz, Mark Yang, Nathaniel Granger, Lisa Sochi-Valios, and others. I found it fascinating to listen to these stories and how their personal stories were so influential on them becoming a therapist, and in particular an existential humanistic therapist. And I tend to believe that the journey to becoming an existential humanistic therapist often is a bit of a unique journey. This was something that really saw in a lot of our stories about how we came to being, that it wasn't just about being drawn to a career. Those that were drawn to existential humanistic therapy, there was a draw to the values, to the embodiment of this approach. I've said for many years that for me personally, when I found existential humanistic psychology, I'd become a bit disillusioned with psychology through my graduate program. And I'd started to think of it, well, this is something I can do from 9 to 5, but it's not something that I was really passionate about. And as I discovered existential therapy, this changed. It shifted from being something that I would do from 9 to 5 to being something about who I was, and developing a way of being that embodied these values, which is really the core of this therapeutic approach. And so when the embodiment of this approach is so important, that seems to suggest that the journey to becoming an existential humanistic therapist is going to be a little bit of a different journey. So we see a lot of stories of struggling with facing death and death of loved ones, being confronted with racism and different struggles. All of these confrontations with suffering, with the difficult aspects of existence, were so key to the stories of most of these individuals as they journey to become an existential humanistic therapist. So if you're someone that is an existential humanistic therapist and reflecting on your own journey, I think this is a marvelous book for you to take a look at. I think you'll probably find elements of your own story embedded in the story of others, or things that fit well with it. And if you're thinking about becoming an existential humanistic therapist, I think this book, I think it will give you a better sense of what it is like, of what it really means to become an existential humanistic therapist. So I hope you check it out. I hope you enjoy it, and that you find it helpful in thinking about your own journey.